If you feel like your avoidant ex is playing games, they're hot one moment and cold the next, and all you want is an honest explanation of what's really happening, then keep watching, because you're going to learn 3 ways an avoidant ex will test you before they come back. Now, most people believe these tests are rejection or manipulation, and because of that, they waste years feeling angry, confused, and abandoned. But once they understand the truth, everything changes. That's why in this video, I'll walk you through the 3 main tests that avoidants use before they come back. We'll cover the specific behaviors you'll see, the psychological reasons behind each one, and most importantly, how you can see those tests for what they really are. And at the end, I'll show you exactly how to handle their mixed signals when they do reach out, so that you don't fall back into their exhausting push-pull cycle again. Now, let's jump right in with the most brutal test, complete silence. Here's what it looks like. It starts with something small. One day they reach out, maybe it's a simple text, hey, how are you? Or they like a social media post, maybe they even call you. And because you haven't heard from them in so long, you begin to feel excited, hopeful, even a little nervous, which means you're cautious, maybe you're friendly, or maybe you're so excited you pour your heart out to them. But because they're avoidant, instead of replying back, they disappear. Nothing. Days go by, no text, no calls, complete silence. And what happens next is no surprise. Your mind starts racing. You think to yourself, did I say something wrong? Are they talking to someone else? Should I text them again? What should I even say? Now, here's why avoidants do this. Here's why they test you with complete silence. Avoidants have a subconscious belief about relationships. And the moment you respond, it triggers that subconscious belief, which causes an automatic behavior. Let me pause here and show you what's really going on underneath. Because if you understand this one thing, it can change not only the way you see your ex, but how you see the entire world. Subconscious beliefs are like the hidden rules our brain writes when we're young. Something happens, we make a conclusion about what it means, and that conclusion gets stored as a belief. Later, without realizing it, that belief shapes how we feel and act in similar situations. Think of it this way. Imagine you're a young child, walking home from school, and one day a dog bites you. At first, it's painful, it's terrifying, and you're scared. Now, the next day, as you're walking home again, out of nowhere, that dog jumps out and bites you again. And the day after that, and the day after that, it bites you again and again. Without question, the walk home becomes terrifying. You're on high alert. You're scared of the dog. You're scared to go down that street. And so naturally, something inside of you starts to shift. Your mind stops waiting for the next bite. It writes a rule: dogs equal danger. Don't get close. Don't go down that street. It's not safe. Now, that's not logic. That's survival. Fast forward 30 years later, a happy, loving golden retriever runs up to you, tail wagging, eager to play. But your body tenses. You recoil in fear. You back away. You're not remembering the bites. You're obeying the rule. Dogs equal danger. That's how subconscious beliefs get wired in. So zooming out, here's the big picture. Past events in your life lead to subconscious beliefs. Beliefs lead to emotions. Emotions lead to behaviors. This is the pattern underneath it all. So let me say it another way. This is how subconscious beliefs are formed. Repeated experiences turn into hidden rules that your brain keeps following long after the original danger is gone. Now, what it all comes down to is this. Avoidants have a subconscious belief that they'll be rejected, let down, or overwhelmed by emotions that in their past always led to pain. They've been bitten enough times as a child to form that automatic rule. Don't get too close, you'll get hurt. And what that actually shows us is that these tests are not about you at all. These tests are about their subconscious behaviors kicking in, which means what they are really testing is their own hidden beliefs. Now, most people believe that avoidants are manipulating them, and that's why they end up feeling resentful, angry, and rejected. So today, I'm going to tell you the truth. When painful experiences happen again and again, like being rejected, criticized, or abandoned as a child, it creates trauma. And no one can relive that kind of pain every day. It's too much. So instead, your brain pushes that trauma down into the subconscious. The memories are repressed, and in its place, your mind builds a rule. Don't get too close. It's not safe. Basically, your brain made a shortcut to avoid ever feeling that pain again. And here's where almost everyone gets it wrong. Even people who do play games are still acting on subconscious beliefs. They may look like they're making a fully conscious choice, but underneath, their actions are shaped by subconscious beliefs and rules built from past experiences. Now, here's why that really matters. The moment your avoidant ex reaches out and you respond, their subconscious behavior kicks in. Suddenly there's expectation, there's emotional weight, there's the possibility that you might want too much, too fast, all of the things that signal danger to their subconscious. Which means instead of reliving that pain, their brain says, stop, don't go down that road. Use silence to lower emotional pressure and move away from that fear. Think about it. Long before things fell apart, you could feel this connection you have. And when they reach out again, there was a part of them that really wanted to feel that connection again. But the closer they get, the more dangerous it feels. So they disappear, not because they don't care, but because they need to regulate their own anxiety, which brings them to this point where they want to come back, but it feels dangerous. And as a result, they're watching. Do you blow up their phone with text? Do you push for answers and commitment? Do you get angry at them? Are you going to push them down the street where that dog lives? Or will you let them stay where they feel safe? The key thing to understand here is this. Attachment research shows us that avoidants learned early in life that emotional needs often lead to disappointment, rejection, or pain. So silence becomes their reset button. It's their way of creating space to breathe and figure out if this interaction feels safe. Now, if we take that further, what it really means is this. As you resist the urge to chase them when they go silent, you're already showing them that you're safe to be with. And you're showing them You won't collapse into anxiety the moment they need space. But let's not misunderstand this. It doesn't mean you sit there waiting forever. It means you don't let their silence throw you into a panic. You continue your life, tend to your own needs, and trust that if they want connection, they'll come back when they're ready. That's why staying in no contact is so important. Now, the second test is what I call the hot and cold test, and this one is a roller coaster. One day they're warm, flirty, asking you about your day like they care, and the next they're distant, flat, like a completely different person. So what's really going on here is this. They enjoy being close to you. It feels good, but fundamentally, it comes down to this. Those same feelings scare them because being close to someone feels risky. And as you're probably starting to understand now, suddenly pulling away is how they keep themselves safe. Underneath, the belief running the show is simple. If I stay close too long, I'll end up hurt. That's why you see them switch from hot to cold. It's their way of managing the fear. And unless you really understand what's happening, you're left wondering, what changed? Was I too much for them? Did I misread the situation? Did I do something wrong? So if we step back again and look at the big picture, here's what's really going on. That hot and cold behavior gives them an exit ramp. When they're being warm, there's a part of them that really feels good having this connection with you, but avoidants have that internal alarm system that goes off when they start feeling too close. So they pull back, not because they want to, but because their subconscious is telling them they're getting into dangerous territory. And again, here's the principle to keep in mind if you want to understand their behavior. If they pull away and you react with panic, pressure, or hurt, it confirms what their brain has always told them. Getting too close causes problems. So the hot-cold isn't a game to test you. It's their subconscious testing the old rule that says getting close isn't safe. And the direct result is this. You're either confirming or contradicting that subconscious belief. Do you handle these emotional swings without collapsing into anxiety? Do you start questioning everything when they go cold? Or do you stay relatively centered, understanding that this is about their internal process and pulling away is not about you at all? Now, if you want to know the best way to respond to that, then here it is. When they're warm, you appreciate it, but don't read too much into it. Don't read it as you're definitely getting back together. And when they're cold, you do not panic into, they must hate me now. This must all be over. This keeps you from spiraling out of control. And the consistency helps them start trusting that being with you is safe. Now, the third test is the boundary push. And this one often feels the most personal. You've probably already seen this happen. They're going to say things like, I'm not really ready for a relationship right now. I need some space, or I don't know what I want. I need to figure things out. And this is where the pattern repeats. They might say, you're so wonderful, loving, and amazing, and leaving has nothing to do with you. I just need some time to myself. But you can't help feeling that you did something wrong. That maybe you are too much, or maybe you're not enough. You might even think, I can change, I can wait, I can be what you need. Now that's exactly why this moment feels so difficult. On the surface, they're pushing you away, even though things feel good. But in the end, it always circles back to this. The real meaning behind pushing your boundaries is that it feels like you're going to expect a commitment from them that will bring up something too painful. And by warning you off, they lower your expectations and protect themselves from being pushed into something that feels dangerous. In other words, their subconscious is setting boundaries because it believes that rule about danger is still true. And the real test with the boundary push is this. If you argue, spiral out of control, or push harder, it proves the rule is true. Relationships bring pressure, pain, rejection, and loss of control. Now, your first instinct might be to argue, we have such a special connection, or try to convince them why they should want something serious with you. Or maybe you collapse emotionally and think, I knew this was too good to be true. But if you beg, argue, or spiral out of control, it just confirms their subconscious fear. Now, here's where something really interesting happens. If you can respect their stated boundary without over-investing emotionally, they actually start to feel calm, relaxed, and more secure around you. Now, it might seem counterintuitive, but avoidants often feel safer with people who don't seem to need anything from them. When you can hear, I don't want anything serious, and respond with something like, I appreciate you being direct about where you're at, instead of trying to change their mind, then it completely changes everything. Their subconscious says, oh, this is different. This might not be dangerous. This might even feel safe. Now, you're not trying to fix those subconscious beliefs. That's not your job. You're just finding a way to be okay with that uncertainty. And most importantly, you're realizing those tests are not a reflection of your worth as a person. Now, that's where most people get completely stuck, and why these tests just split you apart. The exact moves your anxiety is screaming at you to make, double texting when they go silent, trying to lock down plans when they're being hot and cold, arguing when they set boundaries, these are precisely the moves that push your avoidant ex to pull back even harder. Now, this is just your own subconscious trying to protect you, but it's actually sabotaging your chances. That's exactly why I created the Breakup Response Power Pack, because knowing what your ex is doing is one thing, but knowing how to handle it without spiraling out of control, that's where the real power is. You'll get two simple tools. One keeps you calm and grounded during no contact. The other gives you a word-for-word reply when they reach out. No second guessing, no overthinking. The link is below, but it isn't necessary to get that right now, because at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you how to navigate those tests. Before we dive into how to actually navigate those tests, I want to acknowledge something. I know this feels heavy. You didn't sign up for psychological warfare when you fell in love with someone. You're not asking for games or manipulation tactics. You just want to feel this real, authentic connection. We all want to be able to love someone and have them love you back without it feeling like you're walking through a minefield. So when you're hit with silence after a good conversation, or mixed signals that leave you confused, or boundaries that feel like rejection, I know it feels deeply unfair, like you're being punished for caring. but I want you to hear this. You can ignore every other point that I've made, but not this. When they pull away, it has nothing to do with your self-worth. You're not too much, you're not too needy, you're not too intense. This is about their attachment style. This is a survival strategy that they had to develop years before they met you. Those tests are not intentionally cruel. They're unconscious protection mechanisms. And while you can't fix them or heal their attachment wounds, you can control how you move through those situations. And you can stay grounded in your own worth while they work through their internal process. The goal is not to become someone different. It's to become someone who doesn't take their actions personally. All right, let's get practical. Here's exactly how to handle each test. Test 1, complete silence. Don't chase, just stay quiet and let it pass. Say to yourself, okay, they've gone quiet. This is their subconscious driving their behavior. They need space. It is not a reflection of how they feel about me. Then redirect your energy. Go for a walk, meditate, call a friend, work on a project. The key is not to sit there analyzing their silence or crafting the perfect follow-up text. Test 2, the hot and cold test. Stay steady. Do not overreact. This is all about remaining secure in yourself, not attaching your self-worth to their actions, and accepting them where they are. When they're warm, enjoy it, but do not read too much into it. When they're cold, do not panic or take it personally. Just be present in the moment. The key here is being the type of person who can easily handle the natural ebb and flow of human emotions without making it a crisis. Test 3, the boundary push. Respect it. Don't spin out of control. When they set boundaries or express uncertainty about what they want, it's okay. You're both allowed to set and hold boundaries. If they say, I'm not looking for anything serious right now, you can respond with something like, I appreciate you being upfront about where you're at. That's it. Don't follow it with, but what about what we had? Or maybe you'll change your mind. And do not spiral out of control thinking, I knew this was too good to be true. It's just a moment and it will pass. Now, if you really want a next level move, then do this. Agree with them. Say, I agree. That makes sense. Serious relationships require a lot of emotional energy. At its core, this response is so unexpected that it often makes them pause and reconsider their own statement and what they really want. Now, this is the starting point that changes everything, because even if your avoidant ex never fully lets you back in, you can still be a person who handles uncertainty without losing yourself. And that's just incredibly attractive, not just to them, but to anyone you'll date in the future. And ironically, that's exactly the kind of person an avoidant feels safest getting close to. But even more importantly, it's the kind of person you can feel proud to be, regardless of what happens in any relationship you have. Now, if you found this video helpful in any way, please let me know in the comments, because it really helps me know what content to make. And if you're ready to dive in even deeper and discover when they regret losing you, then the next step is to watch this video in the link above. I'll see you there.